Alright YouTube, this is 2 Cents back with my 2 cents on OCTOPATH TRAVELER, and today we're going to be going over the Thief class and kind of ranking the ones that we have, as well as giving you my kind of 2 cents on who's going to be my favorite thief down the road. So make sure you pay attention all the way to the end of the video for that. As well, we are, me and my family, we're going out of town this week. We got a wedding in the family all the way in Colorado, a couple states away, so I will be gone most of this week. I got a couple videos kind of ready to go just to kind of get out to you guys while I'm gone, but if I'm not active in the comment section, that's why. And keep hitting that sub button. If we hit 1,000 subs while I'm gone, that's just great. I'm okay. I'm not going to be upset when I come back to see that. So please do it. Thanks. Let's get into the video. Alright, so we're going to start off here with our S tier. We have Viola and Heathcote. I'm giving that edge over to Viola here. And mostly is because I think she's going to be better as we go into the future, longer than Heathcote, because we're going to have a unit that's able to give a lot of debuffs to the opponents. And we don't see that on a whole lot of units that we have currently. But we're getting, attack and magic down, defense and magic defense down that we can put on these single enemies, and it's good 20%. So I think that's just really kind of useful for most of our fights, being able to reduce the damage output onto us and be able to increase the damage output that we can put onto them. We also get access to a 2x fire where we can reduce some shield points automatically even if they're not weak to it, as well as a Dagger AoE that also reduces shield points. So that's just really helpful. Not to mention her passives are going to give herself and her ally +1 debuff duration when they're putting them on. So you can pair her with maybe another one of your debuffers just to kind of get some more flow in there, and they're all going to have a +1 turn duration extension. So I think it's pretty easy to tell that she's going to have that longevity. Now, Heathcote I don't think is a bad unit at all either, though. He's really good, especially when we're looking at being able to do some more wind AoE damage and dagger, so he's going to have access to both of those. He's able to give himself some speed up, and at the end of each turn, if you're in a status element fight, he has a 20% chance of removing status elements on himself, so that's definitely helpful. As well as if you are attacking somebody that has this weakness to wind or dagger, he's able to do 20% increased damage from that. So definitely not a bad unit at all in that regard. And so I think if you have either one of these, you're going to be happy for different reasons. Now let's take a look at our A tier here, and I have some unique choices of where I've kind of placed these 4 stars. So bear with me as I kind of explain why and the usefulness for each one of them. So we have CotC here, and the reason I gave him this top point here is in case you didn't have Viola and you're really looking for somebody who can do some debuffing. He does have access to 15% attack and magic down debuffing, as well as being able to afflict some wind defense down if you're utilizing that. But then he has a dagger that's AoE, inflict 15% speed down. So I think all these things are useful, that if you're looking to have a debuffer on your team and you only have access to a 4-star here, that CotC is a good option for that. Now, when we're looking over at Wingate, I think Wingate's going to be vastly different. You're going to be looking for him for a lot more of being able to provide power, and then maybe supporting another ally to be able to do some big damage. So we have, Dagger AoE and 2x Dark AoE, which is going to be nice just if you're utilizing that element in your current encounter. But then he's also, while he's in the back row, the ally in the same row as him is going to get a 20% damage up when they're attacking an enemy that's in break. So you might be able to pair this with like Curran or something like that, one of our big, finisher units, just to provide some extra big damage on top of them, which, could be a nice little pairing if you choose to use them that way. So that's kind of why they're both up here, is just for those pieces of usefulness, but yet they're both vastly kind of different from each other. Now, for my 4 stars in A tier, they were much more sort of utility or buffing sort of oriented, or debuffing. In B tier, we're going to have CotC here, which is going to be more like the 4-star version of Heathcote, more of an attack oriented unit. Going to have access to that AoE dagger and the 2x single target that always reduces shield points. He buffs himself by 15% attack when he enters combat for the first 3 turns, and if he's above 50% of HP, he gives himself a 20% dagger damage up. So definitely a selfish unit, not out to help other people. He does have access to a 50% defense down that he can do for 2 turns, which is definitely, a useful thing to have. But overall, his kit's going to be more selfish and more damage oriented. So that's why he's placed there. I actually use him on my team because I needed a dagger unit, and he does just fine, but isn't going to provide the same sort of utility as the ones we had already spoke about in A tier. Now, Aslight, This is basically going to be a decent unit as long as it's a fight that needs ice damage, because we have an AoE 20% ice defense down, going to be great. We're going to get access to 3 ice random target. When you break an enemy, it inflicts 15% ice down for 2 targets. Aslight and the ally, that paired ally, is going to get 20% ice damage up. So basically, if you're utilizing an ice unit against a creature that's weak to ice, this is definitely the one that you want to choose here. But other than that, the reason we're putting that down in B tier and in that kind of last slot is just for that. It's a more niche purpose for any of us out there. So let's take a look at our 3 stars. All right, so Feline and Diego here are going to be kind of like 2 halves of the same coin there. One's going to give you the AoE attack down and single enemy attack down by 10%, as well as buffing your own crit rate. That's going to be Feline. And then Diego is going to give AoE defense down and a single target defense down that you have access to, and increases your speed with him and a paired ally. So those 2 kind of interchangeable based off of maybe what kind of debuff you're looking to bring and what kind of buff you're looking to bring to yourself. And then as far as our Billy here, poor Billy does have access to a AoE 10% speed down, which is great, but the sort of passive that he's going to be giving a paired ally, it's just dark defense up for 3 turns and then leaf gain by 3%. And like I've said before, this leaf gain just isn't going to carry well into the rest of the game. We are going to get plenty of leaves through farming our Tower of Remembrance, so it's just a useless passive to me at this point, I believe. Anyway, now let's kind of look at who I think is going to be the best thief coming to the game later on. All right, and it should be no surprise here that it's going to be A2. I've talked about her before, as I'm sure a lot of other people in the community. When we do get this near collab, this is going to be the unit that you're going to really be searching for on that. Looking at the passives here, we're going to kind of have this prevent lethal damage just 1 time, and then we're going to have been able to, in Berserk mode, use a damage ability a 2nd time in a row. So that obviously is going to help a lot, especially when we take a look at her abilities here. You can see she's going to get access to 3 times Dagger, Axe, and Sword, as well as being able to do an AoE taunt and then give herself attack and crit up by 15%. We're going to have an AoE Dagger that's going to be able to always break shield points. We're going to be able to enter this Berserk mode, which is going to super boost some stats there. And then we're going to be able to inflict some defense down and some speed down with some other Dagger and Sword abilities. Obviously, this kit is just very cracked out, which is why I don't think we're going to be getting her anytime soon. My guess is probably about a year from now. But, who knows? They could throw any sort of collab in earlier than that and bring her in early. But I'm just kind of thinking, what if you were to bring something like this to Global today, it would really kind of tear things up. So I do think it's going to be a while down the road before we get her. Anyway, that's been my 2 cents.